Hi, everyone. Welcome to a very special edition of the Wealth Cafe. I am joined today by three incredible badass women. They are the stars of the show First to the Finish, which actually is live today on Amazon Prime, so you can binge all of it after diving into this interview. I am so excited. I'm going to let them introduce themselves because I just couldn't do it justice. I have Heather, Sally, and Shay with me, and they are going to dive in. Thank you so much all for being here.
Thanks. We're excited. We have been on a whirlwind media tour promoting our show that launches today on Prime Video. It's called First to the Finish, and it's about the female characters of Mazda MX-5 Cup and our pursuit to championships and thriving and understanding, kind of going through like the struggles, the tribulations, the successes, the highs, the lows, the drama, everything in between. What it's like to race in the Mazda MX-5 Cup. I'm a team owner, and Southern I just put your names together. Heather and Sally are race car drivers, so we're pretty excited. And honestly, we couldn't be like, this couldn't be a more better way to promote the two on your show, talking about wealth and strategies and how to be financially independent and sustainable, because motorsports is all about that.
Which I want to get to your intros, but one of the things too, so I actually got to see Shay speak at the Female Founder Collective Express. And one of the things that you said that really stuck out to me is it is not a cheap sport by any means to get into. I think you gave the analysis of like, or the comparison of you can just go pick up a basketball and learn it. So I'd love, as you introduce yourselves, how did you each get into this incredible world of motorsports?
Okay, so I'm Sally. My dad actually got me into it. He's been racing since he was 8 years old, and you know, he wanted a boy, he got a girl. So anyway, he took me to the kart track anyways.
You got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. And naturally, I really liked it. Started driving when I was 8, started actually racing when I was 15. Went from karting to cars, and then by some way just fell into the MX-5 Cup, and it's a long story, but now I'm here, and yeah, my dad has been a huge influence.
That's awesome.
And
I
then
love
Rebecca.
it.
So I started when I was 9. I'm 23 now, so I've been in racing for 14 years. And similarly, it was just something that my dad and I tried. We went to an indoor go-kart track,
Mhm.
just one that was like pretty close to our house. It was like one of those fun things that, we wanted to experiment with like different sports and things. And I took to it, and we kept going back every Friday for like 6 months. And then we ended up buying a go-kart, and yeah, it's a full-on addiction. So here I am.
Yeah,
I love it.
it's definitely, I mean, a lot of times it starts as like a family sport and hobby. Similar to me, actually, I grew up a nationally ranked competitive water skier. And when I was around the age of 15, 16, I traded in like a pair of skis for a set of wheels. And I did a NASCAR experience when I was 16 as a passenger at Daytona International Speedway, and was just like floored by it and I was really inquisitive and wanted to learn more. And I grew up an only child, and like you, kind of like a tomboy. My dad got the best of both worlds, a boy and a girl in one, because we were always doing unconventional and very much like male dominated sports.
Mhm.
And I loved that part of it. I loved thriving in that industry, that sport industry of male dominated sports. And so in motorsports, like, I have a traditional story in the sense of, I went to the grassroots amateur racing, moved my way up through amateur racing, was able to get into some professional racing and have sustainability there. So I started again when I was about 16. So I got like my driver's license and my racing license like in the same, like practically the same week. As a matter of fact, I think I had my racing license before I had my driver's license, which is
No way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think I'm pretty sure too. I think I'm doing my driver's test. I think he was like, "You're good." And I'm like, "Well, I haven't parallel parked." And he's like, "I don't think you need to." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, honestly, I don't parallel park very often. I probably should
Like we
be
don't parallel park the
qualified
race cars, but
to
it's
do that."
okay.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I was very fortunate. I had a long career professionally racing. I hate to use the word retired, because you'll find that, never say never. But I do consider myself, not an active racer anymore. And I have moved into team management and ownership. I own BSI Racing, and you'll find that in First to the Finish, actually Heather raced with me in the 2024 season. So I'm a leading woman in motorsports and in the Mazda MX-5 Cup, and enjoy the hell out of, helping women in the industry and growing my business. And what is, like I said, very male dominated sport. It's awesome.
That's awesome. And I want to unpack two things here. So, Heather, first of all, what is it like to then have and work alongside Shay, who to have her as a mentor and to have all of that kind of unfold and to have raced on her team last year?
Um,
All
well,
good things, right?
She's like, "Oh no, what do I say?"
Yeah.
Shay was actually my first female team owner. So it was definitely a new experience. Obviously, racing is male dominated in not only just the drivers, but just in everything, the team owners, just the crew and everything. So I'm very much used to having, male coaches and team owners, and so it was different, but I absolutely loved it. I think Shay is like more, let's say more masculine than a lot of the male team owners that I've had. Like she'll like tell you exactly how it is. She's not afraid to like sit people down and just have them, talk it out. And like she's on top of everything. We were super organized, and like she's just on everything. So it was awesome, and it was cool to relate to my team owner, and I learned a lot from you. Working with her and BSI, and it's a great experience.
Which I think from watching the trailer, correct me if I'm wrong, Sally, it's your voice where they take the clip and it's like once you put the helmet on, like nothing else matters, which is so different from any other sport. So you can also, if you want to lay out the full quote too, because I can't do it justice, but it really stuck out to me because you're right. It's not like football or baseball or any other sport where once you're in that car, it's totally different. So I'd love for you to talk about that a little more.
Yeah, that's something that my dad has always taught me in go-karting and cars, anything I've ever driven. There's so much external factors going on, especially with the docu-series and all of the cameras everywhere, all the media. But it's like when it's race time and you put the helmet on, you put your visor down, you start that engine, nothing else in the world matters besides you, the machine, and the racetrack. I mean, if you're thinking about other things while you're driving, like you're just not giving it your 100%, right? You are there to drive and you're there to complete a job. And so if you're thinking about anything else, like you can't, nothing else matters. And so I kind of say that in the show, and they took it and ran with it. It's like on the cover page because it's so true. And it's like, you know, being a woman in this sport, it's all I want to do is break that stereotype of women actually can drive, right? We can win races. And so to do that, you have to get to work when the helmet goes on. You have to get busy. You have to get those results. So that's something that my dad instilled in me, and that's something that I've taken with me throughout the years, and it's kind of been my theme. So
That's amazing. I'd love for you also, forever who wants to chime in on this, the experience of them filming this docu-series. What can viewers expect to see? It's really focusing on three incredible women, and it's very cool because I think you're each in a slightly different stage of what you're doing. Shay, you're now running. You're not retired, never say never, but you're now running BSI Racing. You're a mentor, and then Sally and Heather, like you're building incredible careers through racing in this male dominated industry. Like, what are we going to see on the show? And how are we going to see that male dominated industry reflected?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, please feel free to chime in. I think like first and foremost, so for viewers that might not be, in touch with motorsports and they might not even know what the Mazda MX-5 Cup is, you do not have to be a motorsport fan to enjoy this documentary because I first want to actually talk about like what the Mazda MX-5 Cup is. So we race
Please.
alongside IMSA, our sanctioning body, which is the largest sports car road racing circuit in America. It's incredibly like we are the for sports car road racing in the US, it is like what F1 or NASCAR is in their respected categories. So it's very high caliber. We race in one of the categories or one of the support series of the sanctioning body, IMSA, called Mazda MX-5 Cup. And what Mazda MX-5 Cup is it's spec racing. So all the cars are identical. It comes down to fine tuning the chassis through coaching and engineering practices with individual teams. But it really comes down to the driver. And the derivative of Mazda and MX-5 Cup is this is an action-packed, drama-filled, bumper to bumper, fender to fender, door to door, constant aggression on the racetrack. And the style of this car, the MX-5, it drafts really well. It creates a vortex. So you'll see that cars will pack together, and you'll see that even if it's not your own teammate, you learn how to work and use each other on the racetrack to net the success of for your individual self. And because it's so close quarter, it ends up being some of the best entertainment racing. I mean, I always say like it's the blend between sports car road racing and then NASCAR oval track racing combined. And that's why the series has become so popular. And then Mazda, through the grassroots level of the amateur racing into professional racing, they have an amazing ladder system in categories for drivers at young ages of 15, 16 years of age can start at an entry level and move up with Mazda to the Mazda MX-5 Cup, where, I mean, listen, if I tell you that there's $250,000 on the line, how do you not think that people are going to be, competitive, cutthroat,
Yeah.
there's going to be drama, there's going to be there's going to be camaraderie, you're going to see the highest of highs and the lowest of lows in this documentary. But most importantly, like I even speaking on behalf of the girls, like I remember what it was like. I lived their life at their ages, moving towards a professional year or professional career in motorsports, and it's so difficult. Like you have to be your biggest advocate, your biggest supporter. You have to be an entrepreneur at the very beginning of your athletic career. You're worrying about finances, how to pay for this, sponsorships, and then just the raw emotion that this sport draws out of people is intense. And you're going to see a lot of that in the show. And you're going to see the good, bad, and the ugly in the show for sure, because yeah. And I mean, and it wasn't always like, I don't know, you guys tell me, like it wasn't always easy filming. It was yeah, because you're really like, of course it's like, oh, we're gonna be a fly on the wall. It's like, no, you're not a fly on the wall.
So it's a big fly.
Yeah.
Could possibly
can't ignore it.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, like it's such an amazing opportunity. Like Boardwalk Pictures did the production, and Group M Entertainment Motion, who is an agency and marketing arm out of from Mazda. They did such an amazing job. They really made us feel like integrated and family, and all the guys and girls behind the cameras and the producers, like they did an amazing job just making us feel super comfortable, and nothing scripted. Like this is 100% our lives individually, the pursuit and the journey to be the best versions of ourselves. And it's super compelling. Like I'm so excited to see it, and to have it on Prime Video is just like,
yeah.
I think we're all still pinching ourselves even today, being that it's launching today. The first 3 episodes will come out, and then the second 3 episodes will come out on April 15th. And so, it's like, it's a little weird for us to like relive it, because even though we did it all in 2024, we've only seen the first episode. We haven't watched the docuseries.
No way.
So we're watching it. So like, as you're watching it, we are too. We're reliving it.
Okay, so we'll have like one big viewing party, and we'll just like find a theater somewhere, and we can all you'll be
Yes.
watching it for the first time together. Which
Yes, yeah.
like Heather and Sally, from this now being your entry to, I guess, the bigger stage of racing, like you're getting further into your careers now, like how does that feel? And just like some of the emotions now behind where you are in your careers, and now adding an Amazon Prime show on top of it, like just share more how that's, if you could even summarize it.
Amazing and stressful. I'm right.
Yeah, no, it's so exciting. Like Shay said, I'm still pinching myself. I'm like, is this actually happening? This is crazy. Like there's going to be thousands of people watching our stories. Like this is, my rookie season is going to be shown to like everybody, like our last year season, and they're going to be introduced to MX-5 Cup, to all these different characters. and it's gonna do so much good for the series, I feel like. But for me, I'm still like kind of freaking out. I'm like, if you told me this like 2 years ago, I would not believe myself.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit nervous, so I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna look because like I know what happened because I lived it, but I'm like watching it, it's gonna be like going back like 5 years because it feels so long ago.
It
Like
does.
honestly, it does not feel like last year.
Doesn't it? Feels like forever ago.
Yeah, watching
Yeah.
episode 1 from you was like, that was me. Like, what's going
But
on?
also how cool that you now have like your rookie season documented. Like I just think that is also the coolest thing that you'll be able to show like kids, grandkids, family, like generations later, they'll be like, no, that was me. And it's, we think back to even for me being in the finance world, which I know I'd love to touch on too. Heather, your little finance background is you look back and it's like we don't have it filmed that women didn't have credit cards until the 1960s. So like you're going to be able to go back and see the
What?
impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I mean, it makes sense, but I
On
just
your
had never
own.
thought of it that way.
Yep. Without a cosigner, you couldn't have a credit card
You
on your
couldn't
own till the
purchase a
19th.
home
Yeah.
Oh my
without
gosh.
your
Isn't that
husband's
crazy?
uh,
Uh-huh.
Wow.
That's
you
not.
Well,
know,
and now we hold the purchasing power, baby.
Yeah, exactly. We're set to inherit more wealth than ever. We hold the purchasing power. We are the consumers. And so,
Oh wow.
Heather, I'd love to touch on your journey too, between school, your rookie year, and what's going to be documented in the series.
yeah, so it was my second season in MX5 Cup. Me and Sally are both winners of Mazda's Women's Initiative Scholarship.
Heck
She
yeah.
won the year after me, which was 23, and I won in 22. And so Mazda has really been in like they've really supported us through every stage of our getting into this professional racing. And especially with this docu series as well, like they've provided these opportunities step to step for us, and so it's really just been incredible for that entire experience getting into professional racing, and the fact that they've been so welcoming in the entire process, and yeah, so it was my second season of racing. I switched teams, so you'll see kind of at the beginning, like it's also a new team for me, so I'm adjusting to everything to do with that. We had one test at Sebring before the season started, and then jumped into it at Daytona. And yeah, so there were some things that were new to me, some things that I already had experienced, like some tracks and stuff. But yeah, there's also just a lot of personal stuff that you'll see, in my life. A lot of life changes that went on for me last year. I graduated college and I moved from North Carolina back home to California in the
Wow.
middle of the year. And so, packing up all my stuff in my tiny little CX-30 and traveling across the country with my mom for a weekend is in the docu series, as well as a lot of other things. But yeah, so a lot of our lives, it's kind of like an all-encompassing thing is all documented. That was kind of the purpose, was not to just show what it's like when we arrive at the track, but all the work that we're putting in behind the scenes and at home, and what we do in our personal lives.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, there's a lot of personal life factor. It's not just about what we do when we show up to the racetrack. It's in prep to that. It's our family life. It's just every day, like highs and lows of struggling, finding the funding and the resources and relationships. And I'm a mother of two, and so my kids are also, in the documentary. And so there's a lot of key players. And then as well, it's not just us. Like the documentary does an amazing job highlighting some other race car drivers, particularly two that are on my team. Connor Zilic, who is a phenom. He's very much like the 1% in racing. He's made it to NASCAR at an incredibly high level. He's 18 years of age, and he went essentially from MX5 Cup to NASCAR with Junior Motorsports and Trackhouse Racing. And he just did his first NASCAR Cup debut, which is an incredibly big deal. And like Weston Workman, he is a scholar. Both of these drivers are scholarship, previous scholarship winners. And it brings in like, it brings in ties in like the relationships and the camaraderie and the team aspect, teammates, and then rivalries. You'll see these
Mm.
girls like rival a little bit too. So
Oh, I can't
it's,
wait.
yeah, there's a lot packed into this documentary.
That is incredible. So I'd love to wrap too and just touch on, as Shay, you mentioned, like you're all building your own businesses in this as well. It's not just, hey, get in the race car and go. There's sponsorship. Sally, I know you have a lot of swag out there that is super cool with your hot pink on it. I love it. And you have all these different avenues that you're pursuing. Can you each talk like what does the next chapter look like in terms of business, racing, everything that you are pursuing?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gearing up big time on the business side. Like, this is such an amazing opportunity. We have to go like all in. And
Yeah.
so we have been back to back on media tours. We have been working with potential corporate partners for the series that will trickle down in a naturally benefit the girls here, my team, other teams, elevating the series, elevating potential business to business opportunities, B2C opportunities, sponsorship, investment opportunities. You mentioned merch. We're all coming out with merch. You are
Heck,
like, buy our merch today. Like
we'll put a link
it
in the show
really,
notes. It's on, I'm on it.
yeah, it helps move the needle for sure. And so, yeah, I mean, we're looking at, for me personally, like I'm kind of using this season to kind of like, kind of bring back and reinvent who I am, like the Shea Holbrook, brand ambassador. And I'm a spokeswoman, I'm a business maverick, and I'm a mother. And I have over the last really 4 years focused so much on my business and given so much to, our employees and our contractors and our drivers and their families and our partners. And so I'm also spending like this year to kind of like give back to myself. You'll see some of that, like you'll see some of the hardships that I have throughout, the documentary, and just, putting a lot of times people before I put myself. And so, I'm working on my health and my balance of being, a mom and a business owner. Motorsports, the people that know it, it's a hard industry to be in. It's a hard way to, make a living, and you work really hard for your money. And so, but it's so passion driven. And I think like, like these girls, they're at the prime in their development years of their career, where they probably don't realize this now, because I didn't realize it when I was their age as well. But like, and I'm not that much older, but I'm not that much older, but I'm
It's like
34,
I'm actually
35, I'll be
95. It's
35.
okay.
And, but like they're developing characteristics in business that is going to provide them this amazing mental fortitude to seriously be successful in anything that they do.
Mhm.
Because like failure is not an option for us.
Yeah.
And like failure doesn't look like there's no end game. Like there's always a way to like pivot and move forward, and kind of re-navigate, literally on, Google, like, okay, we just go this way instead of this way. And so you just got to really be like super on your feet, precise, on the ball, and just kind of, take the punches when you need to. Like I appreciate, I've actually never heard you say like she's a very masculine woman, and how but I really am very like, approach things head on. I consider myself, my husband is a critical component to the success of the business and my personal career as well. Like we really thrive in problem solving. And I think that as a driver, in and out of the car, you have to problem solve a
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah, you guys don't just check, and I think that goes back to a lot of like the snippets that were in the trailer for the show, is that you don't check things at the door. So I'm glad that the show is going to cover your personal lives, like Heather, you moving, Sally, your rookie year, Shay, you building a business and your family being in it. I mean, as somebody who also running her own business, like you don't get to
Mhm.
leave that at the door, right? You still have that like running in the back of your head of like, oh my goodness, like did the kids make it to school today? Like, do I have enough paper towels at home? Like, that doesn't just go away the second you walk in the door. So I am so
Am
excited
I
to.
sure that I enrolled my kid in kindergarten, and did I pay
Yeah.
tuition? Am I,
You're like checking, you're like, he
yeah,
does go to school, right?
yeah.
That is awesome. I like to end every episode by asking you each a question, and it is what is one thing that you do daily to make yourself feel wealthy or to embody a wealthy lifestyle? So whoever wants to kick it
Here
off.
you go. I'm going last on this one.
Okay, we'll start over here.
Oh man.
Yeah, we
Make
end with an
myself
easy question.
feel wealthy. Yeah, I think just spending quality time with people that mean something to me, people that I love. Obviously, like wealth and richness doesn't have to necessarily mean literal wealth.
Yeah.
You could be rich in your family and just having good people around you. And so I try to have genuine quality time, right? Whether it's like, okay, I've literally snatched the phone out of like my mom and my stepdad's hands and just been like, okay, we're putting these away and we're just sitting down and we're just talking, for like an hour, right? And, having like like a little bit of time every day to do that, I think is something important, something that, matters and means a lot to me.
I love it. I love it.
I would say something that makes me feel super, I guess, wealthy. And like I just feel blessed so much. Like with this show happening and all these opportunities getting thrown at me, I'm like, wow, this all I think it all happens for a reason. But I just from where I started to where I am now, I like can't believe it sometimes. So what I do is I pray every day. And like how I started is like I just think about everything that I have, all the people around me, all the opportunities, like all the things that have happened. And I'm just like, wow. Like I have no reason to wake up and like be upset like in the morning. Like I should just be the happiest person every single day because I have so much abundance around me and like just praying and reminding myself every day like all this stuff that's happening and like it just happens so fast. I mean,
Mhm.
I feel so well. I feel like the wealthiest person every day. So
Mhm.
It's amazing. All right, Shay, close us out.
Yeah, I think like I'm a really goal oriented person.
Mhm.
And so sometimes this can get the worst of me, but I do find that it's what makes me wealthy each day and fills my cup and make I look at like the glass being half full and honestly a lot of it is checklists. Like I love to wake up in the morning and to know what my agenda is and what I need to accomplish, look at the high level stuff that I got to get done. As we become business owners and mothers and you're multifaceted, like the checklist gets longer and longer. I remember the days where I used to have a checklist and I was like, yes, I like checked everything off. And now that's not the case. Like my checklist just gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And so prioritizing like what's important makes me feel really wealthy because the juggling, balance of work life, family life, friendship life, being a great, wife to my husband, like, trying to prioritize and categorize, what that is on the checklist and being like goal oriented and focused to achieving that. That helps me, stay balanced and makes me feel wealthy in the same time.
This is why I love to ask this question, is because I am part of my mission is that I want people to see, especially women, that wealth is outside of a dollar amount, right? It's A, what you do with your money, and B, it's like the experiences you get to have, that time with your family away from phones and everything else, being able to even have that time in the morning to pray and make those to-do lists, I think is just so incredible. So I am so grateful personally to have you here for this conversation. I think it was incredible, and I can't wait to watch your stories. The first 3 episodes are live today on Amazon Prime, so make sure you check them out. We are going to link all of your merch and your websites and the show in the
So
show notes here because we are all about supporting women and their businesses. So everyone, thank you for watching. And Sally, Heather, and
thank
Jay,
you.
thank you so
We're
much for coming
excited.
on.